Let's get straight into it. Welcome everybody. Today we are going to be talking about inventory management for multiple warehouses in Webgility Desktop. We generally see a lot of questions come up when it comes to managing inventory across multiple locations. If you can imagine, things can get pretty complicated when you're storing inventory in multiple places and need to make sure that things are kept in sync across those locations. Yeah, just to get some introductions out of the way, my name is John May. I am the engagement manager here for Webgility. My face and voice is on all of our videos, YouTube content, Instagram posts, TikTok, stuff like that. And I am joined today by Manish. I'll let you introduce yourself, Manish.
Hi there. This is Manish. I've been working with Webgility for the last 5.5 years, assisting clients on their e-commerce data management in QuickBooks through Webgility. So I'm the one who would assist you with onboarding, setup, training, workflow, and consulting. Yeah, it's been like over almost 10 years in this industry, assisting clients so far. So happy to here to assist you.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, Manish. And I always point this out, but it's great to have the implementation team on these webinars. I have a decent understanding of everything inside of WebGility and why we do what we do, and I can explain things pretty well. But the implementation team deals with this stuff every single day, day in, day out. They help you guys set up your accounting workflows and make sure things work properly. So Manish will be able to speak to things to a way better extent than I will. I just hope to add maybe some more color and stuff as well. Um, on the agenda for today. So I'll, as always, just do like a quick, I guess, preamble to the conversation, sort of talk about why we're even having the webinar. Should be really quick just to get through sort of the challenges that multiple locations adds to your accounting workflow. And then I'll hand it over to Manish, where we'll talk through some scenarios, some ways or workflows that businesses might use multiple locations and how they can impact your business differently. And then we'll get into sort of a quick demo that showcases what you would do in each of those scenarios and maybe how you would set up WebGility to make sure things work properly. And then at the very end, as always, we'll end with a Q&A. Like I said, if you have questions throughout the conversation, feel free to put them in the chat or in the question and answer box, and we'll answer them as we go. Again, if it's something that needs to wait till the very end, we will just push it to the end, but that Q&A section is always going to be there. Uh, just to get started, we'll talk through the challenges that multi-location poses. Really, all this is going to come down to is that, and it's something that I talk about a lot when we have these webinars, is that the more information that you're, adding to your accounting workflow, the more puzzle pieces are in the proverbial puzzle, the more complicated things are going to get, and the more errors or issues you could run into, right? If you're juggling stock across multiple warehouses or locations, that can open the window for overselling stockouts and delays, right? So if you have inventory across different areas and you're tracking those things manually, there's the human error component, right? Like if you're having to go to multiple places to update things, uh, disconnected systems, like you have your Shopify, your Amazon, your QuickBooks, your point of sale. If you're going to all those places manually, chances are something at some point is going to get input incorrectly. Something's going to get duplicated. You're going to have those reporting gaps as well. All of this comes from, the fact that you're probably not centralized at that point. And what Webgility aims to do is to centralize your data. Again, something I harp on all the time is that our goal at Webgility is to take all those different avenues, all those different places that you input information, and try to condense it or consolidate it into one or as few places as possible. We don't take every bit of information. There's some things that you will still have to go outside of Webgility for, but we'll try to take as much of that information from all of your stores, inventory locations, your accounting, everything, and kind of keep it simple. Yeah, I mean, I think the main point here is that when you have multiple stores, multiple locations, multiple places that you're going to input data and track information, that manual process, or even if you're doing it automatically, you're just doing it from all those different places at once. It can create a lot of confusion and errors in the long run.
Yeah.
And again, just to kind of bring home what Webgility, sees in this situation and why we exist, we want to centralize that data. We should act, or our goal is to act as that centralized hub, right? So if you have multiple Shopifys, if you have multiple locations in your Shopify, we want to be able to pull all that information in to Webgility and post it into QuickBooks. So that QuickBooks ends up being your source of truth. Everything can be put into QuickBooks and managed directly through QuickBooks and synced back to the stores or those inventory locations to make sure, again, that consistency is there, the human error is taken out of the equation, and things are accurate. Anything you wanted to add there, Manish? I know there's a bit of a monologue.
Yeah, it's good. It's good so far. I mean, that's everything that you mentioned.
Perfect, perfect. I like to get the preamble out of the way as quick as possible. I know generally people join these webinars to see how things work in action and to get actual advice on how things should be set up. So we'll get right into that. We'll start with the real world applications of this. I know Manish, you came up with essentially four, I think, pretty encompassing scenarios that people might use multiple inventory locations for. So we'll go through each of those scenarios and then we'll dive into the actual, settings of it all and how it works on the Webgility end. So, uh, take it away, Manish.
Okay. Yeah, let me dive into this one. So, the first scenario is when you have multiple warehouse locations to ship from, and you have multiple sales channels. So maybe there's a store location, the warehouse location one that is dedicated for your maybe sales channel Shopify, sales channel WooCommerce, or Amazon. So you might have relevant different warehouse locations managed. So you want to make sure that every time you have quality updated on your sales channel, let's say Shopify, you have dedicated Shopify warehouse where you manage quantity. So if you are 10 quantity available in your Shopify warehouse for product ABC, you want to ensure that quantity goes to the Shopify store correctly. And when the sale happens, you want to make sure that you sync the sales to the correct location in QuickBook as well. So it all starts with QuickBook first. You want to make sure you have relevant inventory sites available and managed in QuickBook. So yeah, once you have inventory sites managed in QuickBooks, you just needed to do proper mapping. So you have 10 different sales channels. You want to have 10 different inventory sites, warehouse location maintained into QuickBooks as well. Now you just need proper mapping. So quantity from location one goes to sales channel one, and then from location two goes to store location two, right? So that's well, how the management can be done. And in Webgility, the main thing is Webgility has a dedicated profile for each of the sales channels. So maybe I can share my screen. I can show you some setup into Webgility and
Yeah,
QuickBooks as well.
yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah, so as Manish gets that set up, yeah, I think the big point there is that WebGility gives you the ability to map everything individually, right? So if you, like you said, if you have all those sales channels, you want to make sure that each individual sales channel is set up and mapped correctly to the right inventory location for that consistency.
Yeah, so we will again cover multiple different scenarios and situation, but this is just like one situation where you have dedicated warehouse locations managed for dedicated sales channels. So it all starts from QuickBook. You want to make sure you have QuickBooks advanced inventories enabled and multiple inventory sites managed. So yeah, I mean, for example, in my QuickBook, you can see multiple inventory sites there. So if you have a dedicated inventory site for eBay, for let's say Amazon, maybe for Shopify.
Hmm.
So yeah, this is just QuickBook management. And when you have products managed, you will also manage quantity. Under each product, you can mention the quantity as well. For example, if I go to the products, uh, maybe I'll pick any one of the products. So t-shirt is available, and then under the QuickBook you can manage it all. I mean, inside the QuickBook, like how many quantities are available on each of different warehouse. That management can be done in QuickBooks. So when you have 500 quantity arrived in your main warehouse, you can allocate dedicated quantity to the relevant warehouse location, eBay warehouse, Shopify warehouse, using the QuickBook inventory transfer feature for the product from relevant inventory sites. So for example, if I pick for this item, I want to maybe allocate for t-shirt. Hmm, okay, I'll pick another one for the simple t-shirt pack. Yeah, so I want to transfer, let's say I want to add 100 quantity to warehouse, maybe Shopify warehouse, and I want that quantity to flow to my Shopify, uh, and maybe I'll allocate for the same item I want to maybe allocate 50 quantity to another warehouse once this is saved. So once this management is done, we save it and then into Webgility, we pull the correct data and using the right mapping option in Webgility. Let me show my screen. So first thing is the profile management. That's the most important. If, in Webgility, for every single sales channel, it has a dedicated profile. So if I go to, let's say, Shopify profile into Webgility, so all the settings, order management, product data is dedicated to Shopify only. So here I can define a dedicated inventory side on this setup. Let me start from this setup. This is the product inventory sync setup. So when you sync inventory from QuickBook to Shopify, this setup is going to be applied. And then once the setup is good, okay, just give me one moment. At the bottom left corner, sync setting. There are two different setup, one for inventory sync, another one for order posting. So this one is for inventory sync, and here we can ensure we pull the right quantity. Okay, just give me one quick moment on my page.
The remote server tends to be a little slower for us when we try to demo stuff, just so
I see. Yeah, Zoom also occupied a lot of speed on, on the setup. So yeah, let's say this is the Shopify channel, and I want to make sure from QuickBook, I only pick the quantity from Shopify location. I might have 100 quantity available on another place, 500 from another one, but I don't want to pick that one. I want to make sure that we pick that 100 quantity from Shopify location only for product. And on Shopify as well, if you have multiple location, you can pick which location you want to update to. Let's say I pick this one, and we save it. So when we start automation, it will make sure it picked pull from the correct location from QuickBook, and it's going to
Mhm.
update to the correct location on Shopify as well. And at the same time, when we are syncing sale from store to QuickBook, we can define the relevant inventory side in Webgility for that process as well. So let's say we have 100 updated on Shopify, and then when there's a sale for 10 quantity, so on Shopify, from 100, the quantity reduced to 90. And when that sale goes to QuickBook, that's when QuickBook inventory would also be reduced to 90 from the dedicated location that we mapped in WebGLT here. So that's kind of solution for multiple warehouse location, multiple sales channels. Like in that scenario, and as this profile was only for Shopify, so you can get to another second profile or third profile as well, and do the mapping differently for different sales channel. So yeah, this is the order posting setup under the product section for posting window. And yeah, I mean, I already have the Shopify mapped here. So it's going to make sure that when order gets into QuickBook, it reduces quantity only from Shopify warehouse location.
Yeah.
Uh, that's how your data will be dedicatedly managed to the dedicated warehouse. It's not like if the shipment has been done from the Shopify warehouse, we are reducing quantity from eBay warehouse in QuickBooks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just to distill everything that you kind of just showed, the most important stuff here is that you're going into the sync settings under your products and making sure that if you do have that specific location set up in QuickBooks, that when we're doing inventory sync, it's set to the correct inventory location there. And then under the posting settings, that we're sort of doing the same thing, right? So that gives us that sort of loop, right, of inventory sync and order posting. Because the way that Webgility works is we'll take the order, we'll post it to QuickBooks. That lowers the inventory based on how you have it mapped in Webgility. And then whenever you update inventory on QuickBooks, you also want it to make sure that it's kept updated on the store end as well. So that creates that full loop as long as you update it in those two places. Did I explain that correctly?
Yep, that's good. Just one more point is if I just switch back to a different profile, all the setup will be then for a different sales channel and we can do different inventory side mapping. So when we start the automation using the clock on the top right corner, it follows what we mapped. So it's just automated process. You just want to make sure the mapping is correctly. So all the options are available in Webgility for this kind of scenario. Maybe let's look into the second situation and that second challenge as mostly we come across when we have multiple warehouses.
Yeah, let me share my screen again. I like lost the. There we go. Perfect. And scenario two. And actually, before we get to that, Matt Petka had a question in chat about mapping locations. Matt says, I am trying to map two locations from QuickBooks to two locations in Shopify and have them map one to one. I was told this was not possible. Instead, Webgility takes a total from both locations in QuickBooks and maps to a single location in Shopify. This might be something that I don't fully understand, but the way that I understand it is that as long as you have the Shopify's set up under their own channel, you can map them one to one. But if you're trying to map them as Shopify locations one to one to inventory locations in QuickBooks, that is what might not be possible. Manish, do you have any input there?
We have workaround solution available for this situation as well. Let me share my screen again.
Okay, yeah, yeah, let
Yeah.
me.
Okay. So when you have multiple locations on, yeah, Shopify allows you to manage multiple locations, like one channel, multiple locations. So in that situation, again, you can split the Shopify setup. That's possible. Like the same Shopify added twice in WebGility for location one, location two. In that situation, when let's say we go to one profile, let's consider the Shopify location one. That's the one I'm talking about. Now, under this one, when I go to this sync setting, I will define the location one here. So all the syncing we do here, it's only for location one. Even the sales that we bring, we will only bring the orders and sales from location one. We have that option to ignore orders from location two, and we location uh, orders and inventory from location two we would be managing the second profile. So it's a split setup. That's what we call it. This is the workaround solution available. So now under the product setting, when we see the sale, I can also do a dedicated mapping for based on location. We also have like multiple location on this one Shopify channel, so I can do this multiple mapping to this drop down. So if it is location one, for example, I can say we store location one, and for second location, I can maybe choose store location two here.
Okay, cool. So it is basically what I thought, which is that if you do want to set it up in the one-to-one sort of fashion that you mentioned, Matt, that you'll want to set up two separate sales channels in Webgility to manage them uh, in accordance to the inventory sites that you have in QuickBooks, if that makes sense.
Yeah, just additional information, like as I mentioned, we are splitting the same Shopify store. So we have to ensure that under each profile, we manage order data for dedicated location only. So we can go to advanced setting. We have this ignore option available where we can make sure order gets downloaded only from location, dedicated
And so this
location.
is key
So
specifically for this, right? Because you don't
yes,
want
only
the
for this
orders to
situation.
mingle. Cool. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done this setup for many clients in the past, so it works. It's just that there are two different sales channels gets added in your
Yeah.
profile
Yeah, so
in the
you're
same
not looking
Shopify.
at it as one Shopify at that point with two locations. You're looking at it as two separate Shopify sales channels that we have mapped into QuickBooks with the correct inventory sites.
Yeah,
Um,
and that is also kind of quite relevant to our second challenge we're about to talk now.
Perfect. Perfect.
Let's
Yeah, I
say,
can, if you want to stop your share, I can reshare mine and then we can
yeah,
get into that one. Perfect. And then Matt, as always, if you need help, because I know some of the stuff that we talk about can be hard to like, put into action while we're on this live. So if you need help with it, just let us know. We're more than happy to walk you through it. Manish, as he mentioned, he's done this with a lot of clients, so it's definitely something we can help set up.
yeah,
Can I have someone help me set this up to make sure we get it right? I've reached out to support. Yeah, I'll follow up with Manish after this call, and we can make sure that you get scheduled for a session so that we can get it set up.
sure.
Perfect. Yeah, sorry to interrupt, Manish. Take it away.
Yeah, so the next point is about the uh, managing multiple brick and mortar locations. So when you have multiple brick and mortar stores, they have dedicated quality on each location, and so POS is managed in such a way like you can also have multiple POS locations managed under just one Shopify store. It's the same situation like you got multiple locations under just one Shopify, or you can also have a situation like in store location one, you're using Clover POS, and location two, you are using Shopify POS. It's possible. So in that, to solve this, we use the same concept. Each store need to be managed as a dedicated sales channel into WebGLT. Like just a moment ago, you notice I have multiple sales channels integrated. Each sales channel has its dedicated settings, profiles for inventory sync and auto sync. So similarly, even if you have like 10 different brick and mortar stores, every store will be added as a dedicated sales channel into WebUtility. And we can do the mapping when we sync quantity from QuickBooks to sales channel. We ensure that we pull from the right location one and sync it to location one on Shopify. And when we sync a sale to QuickBook, we want to ensure we reduce sales from the same dedicated location. And when we manage profiles second, we want to ensure that we download orders from only location 2 on Shopify if it's just one channel with multiple location under that, and ignoring other orders because other each profiles will be managed for its own dedicated inventory site orders uh, altogether. So that this is how it's exactly the same solution. It's just that even the store locations are managed as a sales channel.
Yeah,
Yep.
perfect, perfect. And honestly, just to kind of piggyback on that explanation, when it comes to brick and mortar or POS in general, I like to because we have partners in the POS space. We've recently partnered with Lightspeed. We obviously integrate with Clover and Square, and still have a connection with QuickBooks POS. Uh, I look at POS as another sales channel. So it's the same as Shopify in my mind, right? You can have any number of brick and mortar stores and you'll want to sync those individually to your QuickBooks so that you're getting all the most accurate information. The way that we look at POS data is almost entirely the same as we look at Shopify data or Amazon data. There's differences in the way that it's set up or the way that we pull that information and how you maybe want it to get synced. But in the end, I always suggest if you have multiple brick and mortar stores, adding them each as a separate individual sales channel so that you can track all that information side by side. And then not have it all be one size fits all. I know Manish, you mentioned if you have, a Clover in one POS or a Clover POS in one brick and mortar store, and then you have
Yeah.
a Square in another, it doesn't even
Right.
need to be, you can do it further than that. If you have Clover across all your stores, you can still set it up to be a separate point of sale location and synced separately into QuickBooks. It just depends on how much fidelity, I use that term a lot lately, how much fidelity you want in your data to get pushed into QuickBooks.
Yeah.
Perfect. And
This
I'm assuming you want access to share again. Sorry.
Okay, we might want to move to this third challenge
Yeah.
because it was the
Yeah, we
same
can do that.
thing solution we just looked into.
No worries.
So,
There we go.
okay, yeah, multiple warehouse locations and single sale channel. This not exact same scenario as the multiple store location on one channel. It's like uh, for different location. Let's say you have very large business. You have presence, I mean, just one website, but you're selling across all the different states in the country, different location, and you're managing like thousands of products, tens and 50 thousands of products, and just to make sure your shipment is more easy and smooth, you have, let's say, 4 to 5 different warehouse locations, or maybe more in across the country. So, like in the eastern zone, you have one warehouse, you have another warehouse in the central zone, and another warehouse to to fulfill all the orders from different locations. So, in that situation, here as well, we can do dedicated mapping. Allow me just a moment. I wanna share my screen for this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so in your QuickBooks, you will have like multiple locations. For example, if I go back to the QuickBooks inventory site list. So yeah, I mean, let's consider like you have multiple warehouse locations, Eastern, Central, Pacific Zone warehouse, and then maybe you have a clothing warehouse dedicated to fulfill the orders for clothes and dedicated warehouse to fulfill maybe other hardware product that you sell. So in that situation, you want to make sure that when order gets into your QuickBook, inventory adjustment happen from the correct location. So getting back to the same sync setting products, and now on this, I mean, on this dropdown, you set the default. Maybe you set main warehouse, but when you check the box, you click on the map inventory side. Now this time you go to this drop down for location. So based on the order state, when we get sale from Shopify or any sales channel, we check the location for the shipment. And based on that, whatever the mapping you have done, for example, if it is from California and you want to select maybe inventories, if you always do the shipment for that from maybe Pacific zone warehouse, then do this kind of mapping. So because when the physical shipment happened, your inventory went out from that uh, Pacific Zone warehouse location for that California order. So you want to make sure when order gets to QuickBooks, in your QuickBook, inventory should be reduced from exact same warehouse location. So this mapping will be handy in that situation. This can be done or achieved. I mean, this can be mapped in multiple different way. One of the way to solve this is based on the location. If that does not work perfectly, then you can also manage tags on your sales channel specifically for Shopify. So let's say you have tag like maybe site one, for example. So site one is like a code for your team. They know which inventory site inventory has been the product has order has been shipped from. So if you have attached a tag to the order, say site one, then you can map inventory site, let's say maybe store location one and maybe tag two or site two tag. That's kind of your internal code for a business that confirm like shipment is happening from the inventory site location two. So that's also possible. Just one website, one store, sales channel, but you can have multiple inventory sites, shipment management done using this kind of mapping. So yeah, that can also be solved. Let's look into the next challenge we wanna talk about. Let's see.
Yeah. Yeah, the final one, and it works out really well. Levi asked in chat about FBA. And that is our final scenario. So it worked out pretty perfectly there.
Okay. When it comes to Amazon FBA, it's like so many misunderstandings are there. Like some people, when they have shipped their products to the Amazon warehouse, they create invoices in QuickBooks because they think like our inventory is out of our warehouse. So they reduce quantities. So let's say they had a product ABC with 1,000 product in their main warehouse, and then they have moved 500 quantity to the FBA Amazon FBA warehouse, maybe to a specific location, maybe in California, let's say, for example. So in your main QuickBook, they are left with only 500 quantity, and because they have added invoices, their inventory is already reduced. Now, in that scenario, which is commonly followed by some clients, so when sale gets sent to QuickBook, your inventory gets reduced again. Like when you have 10 quantities sold out on your store, when you bring the sale into QuickBook, now you were left only with 500 quantity in QuickBook. And when you add a sale, your inventory goes to 490 from the main warehouse because you don't have any inventory available in your QuickBook. You have already added invoice for 500 quantities, so inventory was reduced. So what you need to do is, I mean, there are two best solution. I mean, the main one is you manage a dedicated inventory site for Amazon as well. And this way, whatever the inventory you have sent to Amazon warehouse, consider Amazon warehouse as your own warehouse. So because you have not sold out the product, it's just that your product are available in a dedicated different warehouse.
Hmm.
So if same situation, if you have 1,000 quantity for a product and 500 available in your main warehouse, 500 available on Amazon warehouse, then you can create a dedicated inventory site in your QuickBook for Amazon as well. So I'm gonna make sure my screen now.
Got it. So you're saying, obviously you've been invoiced by FBA for the 500 out of the 1,000 that you have. So you send it to the FBA warehouse, but you're also saying that you should create a separate inventory site on your end in QuickBooks for that
Yeah.
FBA site so that you can manage it separately.
Yeah, for example, let's say main warehouse is your own warehouse where you usually have inventory site. So for same product ABC, let's say 600 is what you have available and 400 you send to the Amazon warehouse. Just manage 400 quantity under the dedicated Amazon inventory site. So you have the total count as 1,000 in your QuickBook. It's just that it is located dedicated split up under the dedicated inventory site in QuickBooks. So
Got it.
whenever the sale happens, when we see the sale to QuickBooks, you just want to ensure when sale comes from Amazon FBA, if it is FBA order, then inventory gets reduced from FBA site, and if it is main warehouse, if it's a merchant order, like you do the fulfillment for some Amazon orders, then inventory gets reduced from the main warehouse. Now that's possible. That's easily managed into WebGLT. Is my Amazon profile. Let me go to the same sync setting. Now sync settings are a bit different for Amazon to manage FBA and M merchant orders both. So yeah, almost there. Should be ready soon.
And while that's loading, Levi asked, is there a way to automate shipments being sent? We might need more clarification on that, but do you know what he means specifically by that, Manish? My assumption would
Shipment.
be automate the inventory adjustment in your specific FBA inventory site. But I might be incorrect on that. If Levi, if you could provide just like a little more context, then we can. Meaning, when a shipment is sent into FBA,
Yeah,
do
we
I?
would need more detail, right?
Um, yeah. So you could automate it,
Oh yeah,
so that when you adjust the inventory in QuickBooks, right? So you're sending FBA the inventory, you can adjust that
I
inventory
see.
inside of QuickBooks for that inventory site. And as long as WebGility is set up, we can see that inventory adjustment on our end. You will still need to do the adjustment manually in QuickBooks, though. And Manish,
Exactly.
connect me if I'm wrong.
Yep, that's right. For example, let's say getting back to maybe any of the item, we went through the inventory transfer process a moment ago. So let's say we got this item here. Maybe let's get back to this one, t-shirt again. We do the inventory transfer here. So let's consider 500 is in your main warehouse and you have sent maybe 200 quantity to the Amazon warehouse. So for me, it is, I think, under the, let me go to the t-shirt again. Yeah, 500 available on my unspecified site. You can also transfer from unspecified to main warehouse, and then from main warehouse, you can send it to the Amazon warehouse. This management is on QuickBooks side, so you manually have to manage in QuickBook. Yeah, that's initial management has to be done. So your inventory are correctly reflecting on QuickBook under the correct inventory side. And then you transfer this one, let's say 200 sent out to Amazon. You just do this inventory transfer process. And then let me save and close. And for the same, allow me just a moment. I will go back to inventory transfer one more time. Yeah, this is exactly the real well scenario that I'm following right now. When you have inventories added, it usually shows on the unspecified side unless you define this. The remaining all I'm transferring to my main warehouse. So now if I go to this item detail, I have 500 count available, but under the detail here, we know 200 is on Amazon location and then 300 is on your main warehouse. And this management will also help WebGility application to sync your inventory correctly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So ideally, and I know this was your question, Levi, is that do you need to do this manually or can you do it automatically? In the way that if you're just using WebGility in this case, you'll need to go in and make that adjustment manually, right? Just like you would with any inventory that you that you secure, right? You still need to go into QuickBooks and update the inventory there. And then when it comes to FBA, separating that inventory between FBA and your main warehouse, that allows WebGility to complete that circle, right? So we know which inventory site we're pulling inventory from when things get sold on the website, and we know which inventory site we're putting orders into essentially to deduct the inventory when things, so it's that complete cycle. Is there a way to make sure a site is selected? Meaning I don't want unspecified site to keep coming up. So you mean like a default value in the dropdown? As far as I know, no, it's always going to specify, or it's going to go to the top option essentially, which should be
Yeah.
unspecified site generally.
Let me get back to you. So when you add the product quantity for the very first time, you definitely specify the inventory side in your QuickBook. I mean, that just me, I had not specified the quantity when I added. So whenever you have the shipment arrived in your warehouse for the new product you purchased from your vendor, just make sure you add the quantity to the correct warehouse, or you can maybe just when you're adding the PO or adding inventory count, at the same time you can adjust quantity correctly to the dedicated warehouse locations. Yeah, I hope this answer your questions.
On the default value for the dropdown for unspecified site, I'll talk to our product team and see if there is some logic built in or if there is a way that we can default it to like, your most selected site or something like that. As far as I know, it'll just go by whatever that default value is, which as you're seeing is that unspecified site. Sort of like undeposited funds, right? Like that's always going to be the default if there's not another
Yeah.
account already selected, just because that's
Yeah.
that's sort of the default value. But yeah, I'll reach out to our product team and see if there's any new enhancement there. And then Steve asked, sorry, Steve, I know we're just getting to this one. Is there a connection to Amazon Vendor Central, Manish?
Yeah, we have this EDI integration for Amazon Vendor Central as well. But yeah, it works a bit differently. It's like a whole new topic for us to discuss. But
Yeah,
maybe this
if
it's another webinar can be arranged for this.
it definitely
Yeah.
would be an entire webinar on itself. Steve,
Yeah.
I will follow up and send you a link to any documentation we have on our EDI connection with Amazon Vendor Central. Because yeah, like he said, it is very different in the way that you set it up. Particularly just the fact that you're not managing most things on your own when it comes to like inventory. So, um, yeah, I'll follow up after the webinar. Levi, I think we answered the question there. It seems good to go. Like I said, I'll talk to the product team, see if there's any enhancements for that drop down, just to make sure that we're because I think it's a good suggestion. It would be cool to be able to select a default value. We sort of have some similar functions in WebGility where default
Right.
values get selected.
Yeah, that's also under my pro list for the last question. I will get back to it. Now, yeah, I will get back to that question, last question as well. Okay, now getting back to this screen again, this is for Amazon setup. We just discussed that in your QuickBook. If you have dedicated different inventory site managed for Amazon and then your main warehouse, then you can get the mapping done here. For merchant order, you can select maybe main warehouse, and for FBA order, you can do the mapping correctly for FBA side. So when, every time a sale gets into QuickBook, based on the nature of fulfillment, whether it's FBA fulfilled or merchant fulfilled, it will do the inventory adjustment from the correct inventory location. Now, one more point here. Let's say apart from Amazon US, you also sell your product on Amazon Canada. And that's a different Amazon FBA inventory management altogether. So if you are selling on Amazon Canada as well, create another inventory site in QuickBook for Amazon Canada location. And then we can do additional mapping on Webgility as well for the Canada location. So based on where the order is coming from, it will pick the correct inventory site. Like I have done this Canada mapping here, and I have this warehouse Canada in my QuickBook. So yeah, in that situation, when order gets synced to QuickBook, whether it's from US or Canada, whether it's FBA, FBM, based on it, it will sync, it will do the adjustments correctly to the relevant warehouse location in QuickBook. Uh, yeah, getting back to the point where you have the dedicated warehouse only for dedicated products. In that situation, yes, we can get this mapping done. So when we go to the product section, let's say there's a product ABC or maybe t-shirt product, and that product is available only in dedicated warehouse. So you have multiple warehouse managed, but every time you sync a sale to QuickBook, you want to make sure for that specific product, inventory site should be dedicated that we that is managed for that specific item. So we go to this product section, you go to additional mapping, inventory site mapping. And then here, let's say if I go back to the another product, any product you can pick here and define where you want to adjust inventory from. If it's a cloth, you can maybe select clothing warehouse because it's dedicated for the clothes. So that's how you can get the product level mapping as well, and we can save it. So for this product, when sale gets into QuickBook, it will do the adjustment from this warehouse, and for the remaining other product, it will follow the standard setting that we would map under the sync settings. Yeah,
Got
hope
it.
that
Okay.
answers your question.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
Uh, yeah, that was all I think from my end. That was pro tip as well. How do we manage Canada and how do we manage the inventory management for dedicated products and inventory side from my end. Any more question? Anything from the team?
Yeah, perfect. Let me share my screen again. Yeah, and this is the time for the dedicated Q&A. So if you have more questions, now would be the time to ask them. Um, I also wanted to give you guys an opportunity if you have additional topics that you want to cover. Like I know Steve mentioning the Amazon Vendor Central, that could be an entire webinar topic on its own. We do have topics picked out. The implementation team comes up with a list of topics that they want to cover based on the stuff that they see every day. So generally, those topics are going to be sort of the most popular things, anyways. But if you guys, the audience, our users, have stuff that you want to cover or want to see covered on the webinars, let us know. That is why we're here entirely, is to give you guys more ammunition and help you guys use Webgility to the best of your ability. We know Webgility, especially Webgility Desktop, has a lot of bells and whistles, a lot of levers and knobs that you can pull. So we want to give you guys all the know-how so that things work efficiently for you. Cool. And if there are no questions, that is totally fine. I'm more than happy to give you guys a couple minutes back in your day. We will host another webinar. Let me see if I can get the topic for you real quick. We'll host another webinar for Webgility Desktop on the 10th of December. We do it every month, technically every other week, but we cover a Webgility Online topic, the same topic that we covered for Webgility Desktop. Matt asks, frequently Webgility does not bring over an order okay, list modification, but when I retry it, posts without issues, is there a way to set up an automatic retry?
I would say yes, we have an option when an order is rejected from posting. Maybe sometime QuickBook is not ready, QuickBook is going through some updates, or we have some settings or reports opening QuickBook. QuickBook doesn't allow syncing and order gets rejected. So in that situation, let me share my screen. There's just one
Yeah,
checkbox on the automation, and that can solve this problem. Again, if it happens again, you can check with our support team as well. There are solutions available. But yeah, this is my automation setting that you see right now. And let's say this is happening for Shopify store. So I go to the left panel. Now, automation setting is also dedicated to each profile. There are dedicated times, frequency you can select for automation. Now, for posting option, you can select an option like their retrieve error orders. And then let's say frequency is 15 minutes. So every 15 minutes when maybe is trying to sync a sale, and if it find that any order, maybe let's say 5 orders were rejected last time just because QuickBook was not ready or it was running some updates. So it will, this checkbox, whenever the next sync cycle start after next 15 minutes, it will pick all those orders that could not sync last time. So yeah, it will try to resync anything errored out this way. We can
got
take a
it. So yeah,
snapshot of this one.
any orders that have errors in them, it'll try to repost on that 15-minute interval.
Yeah, I mean, if you wonder how to get back to this setting, just click on the clock on top right corner and it will give you option for automation settings, and you can get back to this page for the setup.
Perfect. Yeah, just know that that'll include any order errors. So if there's an actual error, not one that you're saying, like your intermittent order errors, right? It'll post those or try to post them again. But if you have an order that's erroring out because of some other thing that's happening, right? Like some mismatch or information is missing or something like that, it'll still try to post those. So you might see those alongside each other. Just be aware of that. That's the only contingency there.
Yep.
Cool. It seems like that is all the questions we had for today, so we can go ahead and wrap it up here. If you do have additional questions, again, just go to portal.webgility.com or just go to webgility.com and start a chat with us on our website. The portal chat, if you're in your actual account, will get you with our customer service team just a little quicker. If you go through the main website, you might get our sales team first, and then it'll hand you off correctly. But yeah, ask us any questions you have. We can schedule sessions if you want to like get walked through any of the things that we talked about on this call. I am going to follow up with Matt on that session for the Shopify setup, and then Steve, I'm going to send you the Amazon Vendor Central documentation that we have, just so you can look into that and get it set up if you'd like. But I appreciate you guys. We always love having you guys on. If you have, again, any suggestions for topics that you want to see covered, just let me know. My name is John. Email is john.may@webgility.com. Super easy. Um, but yeah, we'll go ahead and end it there. Thanks everybody for joining and enjoy the rest of your week. Have a good Wednesday.